Next lesson. I will show in this lesson the difference between BioWell 3.0 and previous models. What are the advancements and the new features that we have included in the BioWell 3.0 that makes it the best tool for now in the world of kill and photography. Let's go. Here you see on the screen the BioWell hardware test program. This is our internal program for checking the devices, tuning them, and reprogramming them if needed. It's for technical support issues, first of all, and it's being used on the factories to do the quality control check. So there is a QC check here, you see the utility. What do we look here, first of all, in order to understand what is one of the biggest advances in BioWell 3.0 in comparison with the previous models is that within the previous BioWell devices, BioWell 1.0, BioWell 2.0, we were photographing the gas discharge at the latest stage of its development. What does it mean? Because from the moment the electromagnetic impulse is being sent on the bottom part of the glass and the electronic avalanche starts evolving, so you can photograph the avalanche and the air discharge that is happening on top of the glass at any moment in the early stage of its development and also at the late stage of its development. So the later you do that, the more smooth and homogeneous will be this orb, the emission. In this case, we can see how it happens. In BioWell 3.0, it is possible to set the time at which you do the photograph. So, for example, let's start from 4 milliseconds after the impulse has been applied, and I click Get Image. You see, at the 4th millisecond after the impulse, the gas discharge is very weak. So it's only starting to evolve. So if we look at the grayscale, so it can be barely seen. And it's only starting the evolution. Let's jump over to 6 milliseconds. We apply and we get the image. You see on the 6th second, there's already, if we look here, 7,651 pixel. So the energy of emission is 1.62, so it's already bigger. And with every millisecond that we add, we will see that it's becoming brighter and brighter, bigger and bigger, until it gets saturated at this voltage that is being set in the hardware level and in the device. So for example, here we see 9,641 pixel at 8 milliseconds. If we go to 10, we apply changes, we get image. You see here it's 10,500. So we go 12, so almost no change. We go to 14, so it's 10,500. It's oscillating there. If we go to 18 milliseconds, for example, so see it's 12,000. We go to 22, for example, it stays there. And if I even set 26 milliseconds, well, there will be no change. It's still 12,000. So it's this saturation. It's maximum that can be reached at this level of voltage. Of course, if I increase the voltage, the area of emission will increase. But photographing later doesn't make any sense because actually the emission becomes very smooth and homogeneous and it's not interesting to look at. So in BioWell 3, it's possible to tune the device to such a level at which for example, 12 milliseconds, we apply, we get image, at which the emission still has more flares and not so smooth and uniform. And while it was not possible to do that in the previous models. So this makes the BioWell 3.0 more sensitive in terms of visual interpretation, and of course the stress level detection that is directly connected to the curveness of the glow is better with BioWell 3.0, while with BioWell 2 it was more smooth and homogeneous no matter what you do. Here with BioWell 3 we can detect these irregularities better. So I can tune my device to such delay in photographing the image so that it will show this mission that I need at the level that I need, but at the same time, the flash will still be there. So if we look at the grayscale, you see that the orb is quite homogeneous already, and the area is 10,887. So this possibility of changing this time in BIWAL makes 3.0 makes it more sensitive in comparison with previous models. This is the number one thing. Second thing that is making BIWAL 3.0 different from the previous models is that one of the main disadvantages of BIWAL that we have discussed is that it's quite difficult to scan the fingers with long nails. So in BIWAL 3.0 there is an additional space on top of the glass. So the space there is added so that even with the long nails you will still have the opportunity to move upwards. The finger will still be photographed while the nail will be there on outside of the circle that is being photographed. So it's more convenient. And another thing is that if you were attentive when I was explaining the calibration and when you were trying to do it and repeat everything, you've seen it, you may notice that on the finger insert of the BIWAL 3 there is also grounding contact. You would ask, what's the sense of that in the finger insert? The sense is that the rubber that is being used in the finger insert is conductive. It means that when you insert the finger in BIWAL 3.0, your finger is grounded. This allows us to get better readings and better results and more stable. So even if you have very thick and dry skin, while in the previous models it was hard to get proper readings from such people, due to the grounding with the BIWAL 3, it's easier. And to make it bigger, you see here the slits that you have here in BIWAL 3, we have 3 layers of them. If you notice, so the possibility that the light from outside will get into the video camera is much lower in BIWAL 3 in comparison with BIWAL 1.0 and 2.0. That's why, again, it's much easier to operate it also. When we are talking about the grounding, it also affects the stability of readings no matter what kind of equipment you're using. You may connect the BIWAL to Mac computer, to Windows computer, to a laptop with metal casing or plastic casing, and in previous models there were deviations between the readings just because of the static charge and the way these notebooks, the laptops, were grounded. So, and the producers of those laptops, usually they don't specify these things and they actually don't care about the grounding in many cases, while for us in BIWAL it was quite a significant thing. So with the use of these grounded finger insert, now the stability of the results is much higher, and we are not so dependent on what kind of computer you're using. Any computer, you connect the same device, and you should, if you calibrate it properly, you should get proper result. Well, maybe I haven't noticed in previous lecture about the calibration, how often you should repeat the calibration. So actually, the minimum that you need to do, you need to repeat calibration every day. So minimum, at the beginning of the day when you're starting working with BIWAL, it's better to recalibrate it. Well, I've shown you it takes several seconds. The sensitivity is high, so in order to keep the accuracy high too, you need to calibrate the device frequently. If any environmental condition change, it was sunny in the morning and now it's raining in the afternoon, it's better to recalibrate the device too. You have opened the window to ventilate the air in the room, it's better to recalibrate the device. So just an add-on to the lecture about the calibration. So BIWAL 3.0 is the most sensitive device that we have at the current moment on the market. And well, in terms of stability, the grounding, everything, that we have remastered the printed circuit board there and made this internal grounding, etc. And those parameters that I have already explained, that all makes the BIWAL 3 the best device that is available on the market for now. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.